Welcome to the Arsenic Theory channel and to my book club. Welcome to the book club on the Arsenic Theory channel. So today I'm going to talk about a book called Conspiracy Theories and Other Dangerous Ideas. It was written by Sunstein shortly after he wrote that controversial article. It was actually a scholarly article published. It was actually called Conspiracy Theories with another co-author, and it received such a bad rap, especially in the conspiracy theory world, and from pundits such as Glenn Beck and others, that he had to come out and actually unfold more on the theories. Glenn Beck, when speaking about him, said that Cass Sunstein is the most evil man, the most dangerous man in America. So I picked up this book, just kind of wanted to understand more about his thought process and where where he's coming from. Then after reading the book, it kind of hit me that, actually we in our everyday lives encounter conspiracy theories of sorts, at workplace and everywhere, we meet with our friends, etc. One thing that the author, Cass Sunstein, discovered is that conspiracy theories, they spread the same way as rumors do. People spread rumors at work all the time, and you guys know, well about that as much as I do. And anything, that happens, let's say there are layoffs coming your way, or, anything else that takes place at the work, or, somebody gets promoted, everybody trying to figure out and make sense of it. So Cass Sunstein says that conspiracy theories spread the same way. Some kind of devastating event take place, whether it's on a scale of 9/11 or something smaller than that, and people have to make sense of it. Most of the time, it has to be very emotionally intensive event. And in order to give you that peace of mind, you have to come up with some kind of explanation as to why it occurred. And some people, they go so far as to say that, they assign some kind of intentional action. And they say that's what's behind that event. And, conspiracy theories, usually what they have is some kind of worldview already. So you probably notice that if you listen to any of the radio talk show hosts that are dubbed, conspiracy theories, you will notice that anything that they analyze kind of goes through their filter. They always kind of blame the mass media, the CNN, SNBC, MSNBC, or the Fox News, etc., for having, biased opinion on everything. But when you examine what the conspiracy theories say and how they interpret any kind of big events akin to financial crisis of 2008 or 9/11, you will notice that they examine these events through their lens, through their filter as well. He begins his book by stating that he basically fell a victim to the conspiracy theories himself, because once he published this article on how, with the prescriptions, with exact prescriptions, how government should react to the conspiracy theories, the people that were subject of his essay, they immediately attacked him and basically he became part of the conspiracy, that he is this regulation czar of the Obama administration, and that he himself, is in the government in order to introduce more draconian rules that will surveil you, everything you do, and infiltrate your groups in order to, dismantle them or subvert them. So when that's why he, wrote this book, in order to vindicate himself and kind of explain what he meant by cognitive infiltration. And, by cognitive infiltration, what he meant is that government should sponsor, hire, or themselves should go into these conspiracy theory circles and then introduce the diversity of thought, the diversity of ideas. That's what he meant when he said they should infiltrate these groups cognitively. What kind of dangers did he point out? I mean, well, first of all, he sees that every time, kind of like-minded individuals gather together and to discuss and form kind of unions or groups around a political or any kind of social agenda, eventually over time, these groups become very extremely polarized. What that means is they will start to assume more extreme views. So they did a study apparently with between liberals and conservatives. So they basically took a group of liberals and a group of conservatives and gave them kind of very hot topics of the day, such as abortion, same-sex marriage, etc., and examined what their views were before they were deliberating in a group and after. So first of all, before they went into these groups to discuss their opinions and views and kind of come up with the same verdict, what they did is they actually asked them to express their opinion anonymously. Then they led them into these rooms and asked them to deliberate and come up with the group verdict and a group consensus. So what they found, and something that they said was not too surprising, is that people that had talked to the same like-minded individuals became more committed and assumed more extreme views after talking to the like-minded individuals. So what that says is that when you are in a small circle of people and all of you are like-minded and you discuss your topics of the day, you almost form this mindset that no other views are even possible, and if they are, they're either dangerous, subversive, or not true. Just speaking to like-minded individuals is actually kind of dangerous, because you are not exposing yourself to divergent point of views, and you can fall into the trap of believing in falsehoods, rumors and other, and maybe even dangerous ideas that can lead certain individuals to violence. The diversity is not a bad thing, especially the diversity in thought. So what Cass Sunstein is suggesting for governments to do is to introduce diverse opinions into these polarized groups. And that's how he sees, the best way to approach the conspiracy theories and to rebut them. Because, he mentions that, if you just straight come out and rebut them, let's say on the national television stations or, through other official or through any other, official channels, that might actually give and bring those theories into more focus and expose more people to these theories. Or if you are, let's say, challenging certain conspiracy theories officially by offering, official rebuttals, etc., they will actually solidify even more in their thinking. Let me read you one passage from the book called Conspiracy Theories. It's actually from chapter 1. We have seen that those who embrace a conspiracy theory are especially resistant to contrary evidence offered by the government, because the government's rebuttal might be folded into the conspiracy theory itself. And then he gives an example of Flight 77. So, after 9/11 happened, a conspiracy theory was formed that, nothing hit the Pentagon building, and it was actually a missile or something else. So the State Department had to issue a video showing how the plane hit the Pentagon. Unfortunately, because the quality of the video and such a low frame rate, it was impossible to see the actual impact of where the plane actually, goes inside the Pentagon and blows up. The only thing you see is some kind of, plane-looking structure, basically, moving on the right side of the video. and then you see explosion, but you don't actually see how the plane goes, the actual impact. So that when the video was released, conspiracy theories formed even more conspiracies that actually this proves that the plane never hit the building because it doesn't show the actual impact. Well, because due to the low frame rate of the video, just wasn't able to do that. Another interesting aspect that he mentions in chapter 1 is how conspiracy theories are formed. He says they are formed just like any other rumor or any other information cascades that spread. It kind of all boils down to what he calls a crippled epistemology. In other words, that what that means is that people don't really have direct knowledge of things, and when they do have some kind of knowledge, it's usually wrong. So that's called crippled epistemology. And how that relates to conspiracy theories is that people don't usually, anything drastic or, that happens on a large scale, such as, financial crisis or, a terrorist attack, people usually don't have a direct knowledge about it. So they tend to believe other credible people or their friends around them, like that, etc. And, conspiracy theories spread just like that. Somebody basically thinks of something, creates this construct in their head, it perpetrates this theory, his or her friends catch on, and it continues on and on and on through this form of kind of informational cascade, through this rumor mill. Usually people that accept them, these conspiracy theories, already have what he calls a low threshold for acceptance. So in other words, they have a higher propensity to accept the conspiracy theories. For example, let's say they already have a worldview that the government is a hostile institution that is, taking over your country, just like, a foreign invader does. And therefore, when they hear a conspiracy theory stating that government was involved in this or that attack, they are more likely to accept it because it already fits into their outlook on the world or on their country. Then what happens? These people with the lower thresholds accept the theory. And then people with kind of mediocre middle threshold accept it as well, because when they hear enough people perpetrate their theory, it makes it believable. And then people with a higher threshold start accepting it as well, because they see kind of everybody around them spouting this theory, so they're kind of thinking, well, maybe it is possible. And so they might not publicly deny this theory and might even start believing it too. Another thing I kind of started to notice, especially, just like in society in general, is that there are certain conspiracy theories that are okay, and people actually can freely talk about them at workplaces or any other, or any other places that, certain topics are considered taboo. Just like, you are, working somewhere, usually you don't talk about, politics, religion, you don't talk about, I don't know, maybe some ethnical issues, but obviously conspiracy theories you don't talk about. But what's interesting, it's okay to talk about aliens and UFO. It's almost like a fun thing to do to entertain a theory or an idea that aliens might be out there, that there are UFOs. And people might look at you crazy if they see you believing it, but at the same time, it's not considered taboo or in a bad taste to talk about UFOs and aliens, as they are the real thing, of course. Not in a context that, they do not exist, but in a context that they exist. Nobody's really going to react in a hostile manner to you. But of course, if at work you mention that 9/11 was an inside job, or that you mentioned that, let's say, AIDS virus was artificially manufactured in somewhere in a government lab and then spread to the population, you will receive some heat for it at the workplace. Once again, it is conspiracy theories. Oh, let me hold it like this so you can actually see it. Conspiracy theories and other dangerous ideas by Cass Sunstein. And I hope to see you next time at my book club on the Arsenic Theory channel. Thank you.